Good evening, Esports Wales fans. I'm Pasta, and don't worry, you're not seeing things Golly Molly hasn't suddenly changed. We've got a new face here, at least for this stream. It's Vteu. Say hello.
Hello, my name is Toby, aka Vteu, and I am your co-caster for today.
Yeah, we're looking to get into these games pretty quickly. It's already 7 o'clock. I know that yous at home will be wanting to get into today, but before we can do that, we need to have a quick look at what happened last week. So let's get our groups up and we can run through the results that we saw. Red Kites took out Ghostly Gamer Squad, and Pit Ponies took out the Wolfhounds. Those were the ones on stream. Off stream, we also had Ronda Rising also beating Ghostly Gamer Squad and the Rejects beating out the Pit Ponies. All of which is to say, we got 2 teams on 3 points in each group. However, the situation for today is a little bit different. We're going to just hone in on Group A because our first match is Red Kites taking on Ronda Rising. This is a seeding match for first and second.
I mean, going off the scores alone, I think we could see Ronda Rising versus Ghostly Gamer Squad. They won an 8-7 victory, and compare that against the Red Kites, it was only 7-1. So going off of that alone, you know the odds are going to be in Ronda Rising's favour, but it's all to play for.
Yeah, the Red Kites are probably the favourites to win this tournament. They won out last tournament as well, so definitely a very good squad. As I have apparently entered the Shadow Realm, here we go, I'm back. A quick look at the map, Vteu, then, before we head into this match very quickly. Clubhouse banned out first by the Red Kites, then Nighthaven Labs by Ronda Rising, then running through alternating bans. Chalet gone, Bank gone, Border gone, Lair gone, Cafe gone, Skyscraper gone, which leaves us with Consulate as our deciding map. It's just a best of 1 for today, the final match in Group A. And the Red Kites will be starting us out on the defense. So, a lot to look forward to in this one, but like you said, Vteu, it very much does feel like the Red Kites are going to be favoured in this one.
And on a map like Consulate as well, I think it's very even-sided. It's not defender, it's not attacker. I think both teams do have an equal chance, and we see it during the Invitationals just then. The rounds do stay fairly even throughout the whole match. Like you said, with Ronda Rising being favourites, keep an eye on them, I suppose.
Yeah, the Red Kites do start us off on the defense, though, and the Montaigne, the first operator to go. That's not really a surprise. I mean, the shields are very, very strong, even still after the nerf. It does mean that Blackbeard is going to be in play, though, who is probably the strongest operator in the game right now, for very obvious reasons. I mean, if you have a shield and then you also have an AK, it's going to be pretty busted. The Deimos also taken away. All that information is very, very useful. The Vendetta can also just hit like a truck. He's got good utility, and his primary gadget is very, very useful. It's not a surprise to see him taken away either.
And a mirror ban as well, you know, how strong that operator is on their second and basement. A lot of teams use it. It's a very unique but a very useful strat used across all of the tournaments, I suppose. We see it banned, so they obviously know how strong it is, and they want to get rid of it. Along with the 2-brow as well. Great pick there, I think. Up against the wall on the top floor in the basement is used a lot again, and it's a good pick, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Denying breaches is something that is just so useful as a defense, really. I mean, that's how the attack can mostly get in. Not much hard breaching to do up on this top floor, though. It's mostly going to be windows that we see Ronda Rising having to make their way through, as well as the doorways up here. There is, of course, that reinforcement that we just see Polly reinforcing off there inside of catering, and that single wall there, as well as a couple others throughout the map, mainly looking over towards this admin side, as our observer Nanos is so wonderfully showing us right away. But looking onto the site itself, you're mostly going to see these walls kept soft, if they can be, to allow for rotates, to allow that defense to move around a little bit easier, because it's so easy to sort of lock yourself in a corner up on this top floor.
And going through Red Kite's lineup as well, you can see they have 2 wall deniers with mutant bandit, along with 3 trap operators as well. You know they're trying to play slow, play on that defense. They haven't spread out too much, and you can see Sheed is just head straight into the site. I'm worried up to the roof and then drop from the skylight, watching this yellow door as much as you can, trying to get a quick kill, whilst Eagle and Monkey Boy are on the hard breach on the outside as well, trying to find another way in.
Yeah, I mean, you said the defense wanted to play slow. Sheed seemingly disagrees. Hopped right in there, now being backed up by Keats with a supernova in hand as well. It's going to do masses at the short distance, but even that's a fairly long way. Even still gets the kill, assisted of course by the Nomad of Keats. Sige as well, finding a pick on the other side, brings things quickly into a massive advantage for On The Rising, and it just keeps getting better for them.
Wow.
5 versus 1 now, everything fallen apart, and all on Vex in a 1 versus 5. This first round is going definitely in the way of the attack. They can't quite get into the map currently because of some flames from the Goyo, but it might not even matter. Vex is in such a difficult position. He's isolated out, and it's a flawless round to start things off. On The Rising with a brilliant start.
Yeah, you said it before, On The Rising, tournament favourites. I think that explains it perfectly fine. The way they're able to hop straight into their map and get the round underway. I think within the first 30 seconds, 1 minute perhaps, they got a kill, and then after that it just fell apart. And the Legion was trying to stand his ground, but he didn't stand a chance either, getting left on his own. But that was a great execute from Ronda. Hopefully they keep it up.
Yeah, it was a really nice execute, and I feel like the Red Kites just caught off guard a little bit there. I mean, when you have a player like Sheed get into that position so quickly, maybe you're not looking over that side of the map in the first 10 seconds, because, I mean, they're not going to be in the map that quickly. But of course they were. And then when you start to actually hold that area, he stayed still, completely still there, proned on the floor. You don't actually know that the player is there. So it's really nicely played there by the Amaru in that situation to, be able to win out that round, or at least get the opening pick. Everyone else as well. Felt like the guns were just online.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we saw just then that Sokudo actually went on a Fenrir just then to maybe counter what we saw the Amaru do last round. But I think he's come off it instead, and Billy has instead chosen Malusi. A bit of a strange pick from a doc as well, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we absolutely will. We just have a little bit of a technical pause. This is Rainbow Six Siege after all. We had a bit of a game crash, but it seems like that we will be able to get back into the game fairly quickly. I mean, we've only really seen 1 round, but I don't want to I'm actually you, but I think that the Red Kites are actually the tournament favorites here. So that first round was very surprising, at least for me, because, well, I mean, Red Kites. I mean, YNB has played in tier 2 tournaments as well. Like, it's not like the Red Kites are just, we think they might be the favorites. They're seeded number 1 for a reason, and it's pretty much the same core that won the previous season. So, but they did get caught off guard there by On The Rising. So that first round has made me very excited for the remainder of this game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. Bringing the action straight off the bat. I think Red Kites did not stand a chance. They weren't expecting it. They're probably still a bit loopy from it being the first round, it being the prep phase. But yeah, I think the speed there of the Amaru, and like you said, the way she lied down and just made sure she wasn't seen. There was no cameras on her. She had every odd in her favor, and it did work out in her favor.
Yeah, indeed. I do feel like, though, this tech pause is maybe going to hinder On The Rising a little bit, just because You get that first round, you know, you're feeling hyped, you're feeling pumped, you're ready for the game, and then suddenly you just take that pause, and you can cool down. And this isn't saying that this is on the Red Kites, because we've seen teams in the past when they start losing a little bit. Oh, they're tech pause, but this was actually a Run the Rising play that crashed out. So this is definitely a fair game situation, and it can just hurt your momentum a little bit, just having that player crash, especially just after that first round where it was so explosive. You're going to want to keep that speed going forward, but unfortunately, it didn't happen.
Exactly that, yeah. I think the morale's high, the team's happy, they got around, and then all of a sudden some of that happens, the game slows down, everyone's taking a breather. But like I said, I think they are trying to combat against that fast pace that Rondo are bringing by instead countering it with a Malusian Fenrir instead, trying to slow down that attack, make sure it doesn't happen again, try and get their footing down. Sheed has gone Amaru again, so it may be the same tactic we're about to see. Amaru's up, drops the skylight. They read it perfectly, get the kill.
Oh, but Kisus is there to support. Godless goes down, but YNB with a double is going to be able to lock those kills off and keep that area of the map in a decent position. One of the main things I was a little bit worried about, really, was that... Oh, sorry, one of the main things I was going to point out was, like you said, this is about slowing down the attack, but it's also about information, right? You've got that Legion, you've got that Malusi, you've got that Fenrir. All of that is going to also let you know where the attackers were. And consider the main problem in that first round was them just getting caught off guard. That's another really nice adaptation straight away from the Red Kites.
I think they learned from their mistake. I think Godless had a great hold, turned down that attack immediately, and with the help of YNB, like you said, got the clean 2 kills. Now they're up a single player. And we also saw on the other side of the map there, we got a bandit trick on the main wall against their ace, pumping him down and leaving him only with 1 breach charge that he's used on yellow stairs just now.
So another drop comes in there from Cookie. The Toxic Babe canisters just stall things out that little bit longer. Like you mentioned, Vteu, it's a 4 versus 3 right now for the defense. They've got to be feeling good about that. But don't count Ronda Rising out just yet. They still have these players that did go pretty hard in that first round, but it feels like maybe just a little bit of the equation is missing. All 3 of these players are approaching from the same angle over here by the yellow stairs, and they just can't really do anything with this. The Dread Mine goes off, blinds them up, and they're playing scared. They're worried about this. And the swing comes through from Spiral Stairs. Pole with 1. Eagle falling. Cookie should have been watching for that. Now he takes the rotation. Ill-advised, because he's been taken down. And CJ, oh no. A little bit of an internet issue. Somehow
gets the kill.
Being able to get that kill. But it should all be for nothing. 20 seconds left. Still 3 players left to find as well. Has to ascend this staircase. His location will be known from that. And, well, with his internet seemingly not having a great time, he's got to try and do something, but nothing will happen. Nice round from the Red Kites to tie themselves up this early on in the game.
Yeah, I think it was a great response with those first opening 2 picks, and it being such... I'd say pivotal characters, but Amari wouldn't have such a big play. But I think getting rid of the Nomad that early on, it stumps your attack completely. It stops you from being able to get that area and make that denial against the defenders and try and get some real estate and get some room to plant with. But instead, that got shut down completely. And then slowly, the Ronda Rising team just slowly fell, and then CJ got left by himself. You hate to see it really, but he got 1 kill. But that's unfortunately it.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Heading into round 3, now down to the basement. Obviously, the top floor is locked off. If you win a site as a defense, you have to wait 2 rounds until you can pick it again. So we will see the top floor at the earliest occurrence, round number 5. as for right now, Red Kites, they need to find somewhere else to win, and the basement is definitely a good place to do it. The basement sites often are quite strong in Siege, but this one especially, you can do some quite good things. However, we saw Ron the Rising, they're already able to win out one attack. There's nothing to say that they won't be able to win this too.
And like you said, basements are a very strong site in any map realistically, but on a map like Consulate maybe, you know that the most of Garage, it does have a soft floor above you, and Ronda Rising have capitalized on this by picking up Ram, and they're going to tear up that wall if I had to guess. So hopefully they get a little bit longer, they get to use their abilities and what their purpose is, and hopefully they do get a good execute this time, bringing the Nomad once again. They've also brought a Brava along with them this time to maybe get rid of the Fenrir's and get rid of the Mutes to try and ease their access into the site and make their time a little easier. You can see they're pushing in from the top floor here, trying to clear the roams and just work their way down and slowly catch Red Kites and get the win for the round.
Yeah, it's very systematic from Ronda Rising right now. Crossing the T's, dotting the I's. They've cleared the Mute Jammer out from the drone hole onto site as the Boogie drones start tearing up the floor above them. In goes the EMP. Eagle's going to throw this Selma, but the Kai trick will come in. A second EMP to try and deny that. The breach opened up now, but Pole is able to find the kill through it. Kites has got opened up in front of him, and Pole is able to make that work. A 5 versus 4 now for the defense. She'd nearly getting an angle onto the Kaid, but unfortunately, just a little bit of floor in the way.
I think a great kill there from Polar to start with, and you can see they've practiced these strats before. You can see Sheed looking through 2 whole floors from the hatch of second floor all the way through with the verts that he made into basement to try and get that line of sight, to try and find the people, make sure it's an easy kill. But instead, Red Kites are able to pick up this. They play a bit safer. Sokuda gets 1, but Sheed returns. He's now holding the main breach, trying to make sure they don't push up whilst his team are away, making sure he keeps that time. Everyone's looking at the main breach, knowing where they are. They're preparing. Another boogie gets sent out as a vertical C4 wipes the Ram out of the equation by Sokudo, leaving the Brava at the main breach. It's a 2v1. Odds are in his favor. Odds are against him, sorry. We'll see what happens. 40 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, still definitely a chance with the DMR in hand as well. It deals a lot of damage. YNB's already taken some as well. It's still a difficult position, and now with Godless upstairs, it's going to be made that more difficult. You've got to try and clear the vertical angle above you. The Kiba barrier blocking off entry in towards the site. Got to find another way, and then through yellow it will be. It's a fairly thankless task to try and clutch this up as we head into red time. There's not much to do. YNB's read the rotation perfectly, and he finds a shot as well. Red Kites, they took a bit of a stumble in the first round, but now these previous 2, they've very much cemented their grip on this game.
I think they found their footing. Like I said, they did take it nice and slow. They got the picks, and after that, they didn't swing anything they didn't need to. You see Cookie trying to find his way into the site. And like you said, past that, the vertical above him was all made sure he didn't go through the breach. He instead tried to get through yellow. He got dropped off instead. And we see another very conservative pick from Red Kites there. Lots of traps, lots of intel, like you said, and a castle pick and a Valkyrie pick this time instead, actually. So you can tell they're trying to up their intel that they're trying to get with the castle as well. They're trying to get that real estate, like I said. Make sure that they don't get rushed again like they did. And that is definitely not the moment this time. And instead, they're on the first floor. So we'll see the site set up and how they get to try and defense against Ronda Rising once again.
Into round 4. And I want to see Ronda Rising win this round. Obviously, it's a tertiary site on the ground floor. These are the rounds, or these are the sites, sorry, that the attack often win on. That's why you go to top floor and then basement before you head here. It's your third preference. It's the one that you think you have the least chance of finding success. But we can never count out the Red Kites. That's something that we need to know, and it's still fairly strong. You still get to hold on to this top floor. All of that soft flooring underneath you gives you angles to watch into the site, but you have less players to hold on to it. Let's see. Bandit trick could come through here. Pole again on this catering wall. Has that been successful?
I think you got one there
has.
and they're waiting, yeah.
Yeah, there's not much you can really do against the bandit trick unless you try and nade up from below or something similar to try and dislodge the player from the position. It's not like a kite claw where you can trick it with timing. You've got to clear the player out, or they're going to be able to take that kill away from you. And Cookie, the other hard breacher, has fallen as well. Nice trade onto YNB from Sheed, though. So still a 4 versus 4.
Yeah, Sheed with a great kill there, looking in, getting the trade like you said, and he knows that the bandit is holding that breach, stopping the ace from getting in. He's now just seen the castle, so he knows it's a bit of a dangerous drop. He sees him push back, maybe gets a little bit of confidence, jumps down. He's got the Nomad once again to help him. The ace is making his way over as well. Nomad watching from the window. He's trying to get these lot out from the top floor. Trying to get that verticality, trying to use his ability like I said. He gets dropped instead, Polar with another kill.
Though, Billy Ray has fallen, at least in a down but not out state there from Keaterson's side of the bathroom. Flashbang goes out, spots Polar, but not able to land those crucial shots, and Godless has found Eagle. Now a 2 versus 4, make it a 1 versus 4. Keatus going to be able to do absolutely nothing. Red Kites extending their lead to 2 rounds. 3-1 on the board. They can go top floor. They can go basement. A 5-1 half looking very, very doable now.
Yeah, that was a great defense from Red Kites there. I think once they found that pick on the buck on the second floor, top of yellow, they kind of slowly pressed the knife in. They knew they were trying to get that top floor and how important it was. So they sent some reinforcements. The bandit was able to get a couple kills, and then the Legion returned as well, and then it slowly fell and fell once again. Hopefully Ronda are able to learn their lesson and maybe try and revolve more around these kills, knowing that they have to get their kills, but also get the objective on the same time. Whilst Red Kites are focusing on wiping them straight out of the game and deleting them almost. Hopefully they can stand up against them this time, but Red Kites are looking very strong so far.
Sheed on the Amaru again. Obviously, the attacking lineup can change. But it looks like they might even be going with a Blackbeard. Now, we brought up Blackbeard in the ban phase because he's very, very strong right now. Possibly the strongest operator in the game, at least for the attack. But no, Cookie's gone for a Jackal instead. Suspicious of any roaming possibilities that might come through. There's no Mute or Kavira, so they won't be able to track every single player. But right now, everyone's on this top floor, and the drop comes in. YNB's read it perfectly. Sheed falling, not going to fall for that same old trick. And this time, they don't even lose one before that player falls.
Yeah, I think they've learned from their mistakes there from the first round. And since then, every single yellow drop has been a failed attempt from Ronda Rising. It was Sokuda won the second round, and it was him again on the 5th now. I think that was a great response. And like you said, actually, the Jackal pick, a bit strange. Not a lot of roaming going on. I think they're just making sure that they're not getting flanked again like they were last round. And the Flores is a great pick as well. We see it a lot during the more professional stages, just to make sure you can get rid of that intel and that any of the traps that are down on the floor, whilst keeping yourself safe as well, making sure you're out of the line of sight. Meanwhile, Jackal is holding the yellow stairs, making sure that no one else falls victim to Sakudo with his shotgun at the top of yellow.
Indeed. Difficult situation for Ronda Rising now. In a 4 versus 5, you've lost the tip of the spear. Sheed, who really has been the one to put up the numbers, as it were, with 5 kills to his name. The only player that's actually positive in KD on the team right now. And you can definitely feel that that impact is missed. Immediately, Ronda Rising, they sit a bit further back and they fall victim again to the same angles. Polar with 2, at least not going to be able to get the 3rd. That's Ketes answering back, but not for long. Now shut down. Eagle can't do anything. Red Kites 4, Ronda Rising 1. This defense half is proving brutal.
Yeah, I think, like you said, Red Kite's proven themselves to be the best in this tournament. You saw what happened when they first dropped yellow. They knew that the Amari got a free kill. Not only did they adapt to that, but now they're peeking from the top of Spiral as well. Didn't work as well the first time, but we saw just then it worked incredibly well with Polar being able to find 2. Heading into the 6th round, I think Ronda might be a bit demotivated, a bit low on the morale, but they need to dig deep. I think the match has come to a close. Like you said at the start, it is a best of 1. It is all to play for right here, and I think Ronda Rising do seriously need to improve what they're doing. There's only 1 round left on the defense, thankfully, and then Ronda gets to maybe return some fire, return with some good strats. Maybe that is how they reply.
Maybe indeed, but I'd wager that a 5-1 half is probably still not going to be good enough to win you the game. They definitely need this round. It's a must-win for them, really. And they did come close on their previous basement attack.
10 seconds left before insertion.
It started out looking very, very good for them, but unfortunately they just lost their gunfights, and the entry into the map was where things fell short. This time around, they're going to look to try and do something similar, but again, they're not bringing who I would consider a very good hard breacher for this site, which is a Thermite. Instead, they're opting for the Ace Hibana combo, which is certainly a choice. The breaches are slower than the Thermite, and also they do have a little less range, but it does mean that you can be far away when you throw them. They're probably expecting the C4s, like we just saw, come out over the top just there. So, you know, maybe they do know what they're doing after all.
maybe we can see Polar whipping out. Godless gets a 2-piece.
Oh no!
I believe he's on the roam upstairs somewhere. He knew that they were going to push the
floor.
second floor. He's on the top floor. There you go. He knew that they were going to push the first floor, try and get the ram, try and get the hatches, and he's turned it down. That was a great read again. Ronda get stumped down. Early doors once again. Godless still, as much as he might have a slither of health, he is still alive. He is still in this fight, and he is still a factor that Ronda are going to need to worry about. They know that they're going to have to go horizontally now, knowing that there's vertical, so they have rumors on the prowl looking for a kill. So here they are trying to push the bottom of yellow.
It would actually be a 2 versus 3 on site. You've got most of the defenders roaming. Billy Ray on those yellow stairs has now come down to join inside the basement. Are they going to be aware of this? It looks like they're looking for it. And yeah, they must have heard that out the shots as well. But Polar can swing from the site. It's a 1v5 now. Ketes nowhere near the rest of the team. Isolated, no diffuser, no teammates. Barely any bullets in the magazine as well. Has to dip away and reload. Still got plenty of time. There's the first kill. But it's the first step of an incredibly long road. And such a difficult and arduous journey to try and bring this round back. And now being swarmed upon. The pre-fires come in from Vex, who's trying to find this and gets it. Red Kites 5-1 half, looking absolutely unstoppable.
I mean, wow, that was an impressive show from Red Kites there. I mean, the way they're able to adapt throughout this whole match even, but just then you saw when they first played basement, they did allow the ram to get the first floor and then to put the boogies along the ground, trying to tear up the garage, but instead he read it perfectly, chose to go second floor instead, opened up the match with 2 great kills from the start, and then Polar returning. And I mean, yeah, it crumbles again. Ronda, now on the defense, they finally get to have the cards in their hands, the ball in their court, but hopefully they play it well. They're able to read Red Kites as well as they read them, and hopefully they're able to turn this match against them.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
I mean, this has been probably a bit soul-crushing for Ronda Rising so far. And part of me does wonder what would the current moment look like if we hadn't had that tech pause break at the end of the first round. Ronda Rising, they had so much momentum, they had so much energy, and ever since that tech pause, they've just looked a little bit stunted. They haven't quite had that same vigor that we saw them have in the first round.
5 seconds to go.
An opportunity for change. We're on the defensive side.
Moving to defuse the bomb. Attackers drop
What
the diffuser.
are they going to
Attackers
be
have
able
recovered their diffuser.
to do against the Red Kites, who are still very, very good on the attack?
Drop the bomb diffuser.
I think they're showing their skill here. They've gone with a great pick of Twitch. And you have a look at the defense's lineup. I think every single ability that they have is able to get hit by a Twitch drone. Hopefully they can use that ability and get rid of these barricades that they have to run through. Along with a cheeky little Ash pick maybe.
That's already
Obviously to get rid of
so
some more
much.
intel. You see the Twitch there, like you said, getting rid of one of the Vulcans at the front door. Perhaps that's where they're going to plant. They've made it quite obvious so far. You can see she's playing nice and safe outside the window of office, just throwing her drones in, getting rid of as much as she can before her team enters.
Look at Godless's position too. Already inside the meeting hallway, spotted out the player, and the feet's under the barricade is a giveaway. An unwelcome sign for Ronda Rising. Godless is in. The Ash, the entry, has been cut down by Sheed. Damage control, limitation, sorry, of what could have been so disastrous. There's yet more angles for this attack. Vex is up on these spiral stairs. Red Kite's already closing the net on Ronda Rising. Most of their focus through admin.
Yeah, I think Godless Terror's done it. Trying to commence the execute from his team. Trying to make that noise with the opening pick and press against the defenders by using his Ash charge as well. But instead, you get stomped down. Back to a 4-4. You see a close fight here between Sheedy, and he loses against the IQ between Vex. Vex is now pushing up with Polar. They've got the corridor, they've got the real estate, like I said. He goes into the corner to try and get a plant down. Can his team protect him? Like Godless wish they would.
Yeah.
So Kudo picks up one.
Attackers are activating
They've got the line of sights. Polar gets another. It's now down to a 4v1, 40 seconds on the clock. CJ by himself, pressed against. Billy Ray finds another. Red Kites, incredible execute there. What do you have to say?
Well, all I can say is I hope everyone at home has enjoyed Consulate, because I have a feeling this is going to be the last round.
Yeah.
I mean, there was so many moments in that round where it felt like Ronda Rising just maybe didn't quite do the right thing, taking a few swings that were maybe unnecessary. You can stay a little bit more safe. You can calm yourselves down a little bit,
Attackers need to locate
because
and
Red
defuse
Kites,
the
they've shown throughout this game that they are winning those gunfights. And unfortunately, if you try and swing into that, more than likely they're gonna be able to find you. You're playing on the defense. You don't need to be the ones to always take those swings, especially when you're swinging out into an open doorway. And you're giving the attacker the advantage there of just being able to hold the same angle and wait for you to walk into their
5
crosshairs.
seconds remaining.
I want to see a lot more discipline on this round, and they're going to need it. 5 in a row required just to take it to overtime. No guarantee of a map win even then. Red Kites looking well and truly the kings of this Group A right now. Godless is already getting inside the map, takes the hatch drop, and inside of servers.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the Twitch and the power it had last round. They've numbed down, gone from 5 ability-based operators down to 4 with the Twitch drone being able to counter. You can see Godless already down to the bottom spiral. Eagle picks up 1 in pallets. They're pressing against them already. Godless finds another, trying to find their way into sight, gets a great return kill. Like I said again, they're trying to activate that execute, chucks an Ash charge down into sight, trying to press against them. Eagle is backed into a corner. He knows there's a player on either side of them.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
You see Billy swinging from the corridor.
Should be able to get this. No, but Eagle's dipped away. He's keeping himself safe. Now Billy Ray, he's just rushing into the site. He wants this. Unfortunately, it's going to fall. CJ Monkey Boy with that kill quickly answered back upon though by Polar. Everything back and forth this round. A pendulum in the momentum. Sheed now retaking, and Godless hears that swing. But again, it's an attacker that goes down. Eagle from long range knocking down Polar. So into an effective 2 versus 2 until Thatcher can get picked up. And we've only just entered the second half of this round. It's been absolutely crazy so far. And there goes the revive. YNB wants his teammate up and standing before they go for the second hit. Not got many drones remaining, just the 5 left standing. They know where these players are playing. That's a lovely kill from Godless. And Cookie falls and the cookie crumbles. Ronza rising. They just could not find anything after that first round. A 7-1 victory to the Red Kites. They just looked so damn strong. I mean, favorites for a reason, right, Toby?
I mean, you saw the Thatcher there. I believe it was Polar. He ended the game with a massive 12 kills, and you could see why they prioritized trying to get him up on the ground, get him back in the battlefield. An incredible player, incredible team. Very well done.
Yeah, indeed. And that means the Red Kites, they take the top seed of Group A. So on 6 points, that means they will play the second place team in Group B when it comes to our playoffs next week. But as for that team, we don't actually know which team that will be. It's an interesting situation there where there's so many different permutations. I think any one of these teams could be in second place in Group B. So there's a lot of different possibilities, a lot of different permutations. So that all relies on the result of our very next game. The Rejects taking on the Wolfhounds, but that will be after a very short break. So we'll see you in a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the second and final game of the day, and also our final game of the group stage. I'm still Pastor, still joined by Vteu, and we are just going to jump right into this one. It is time for the Rejects taking on the Wolfhounds in this clash to decide which two teams go through to the playoffs from Group B.
Exactly that, yeah. If you're only just joining us, you'll know that Red Kite's just obliterated Ronda Rising on console. It was a tough watch for a lot of it. And hopefully the Reject first Wolfhounds might last a little longer. The scores are saying otherwise. We saw Wolfhounds played Pit Ponies earlier this week, and we saw a 7-5 loss. And then the Rejects played Pit Ponies again, except they saw a 7-4 win instead. So it's in the Rejects' favour, but it's all to play for once again.
It absolutely is. And with that whole week to prepare for this game, we find ourselves on Chalet, jumping straight into the operator bands. This one should be fairly exciting. The Rejects and the Wolfhounds did also, in fact, play last season, and that one was a 7-5 win to the Rejects. So, bit of history between these teams, but like you said, everything is all to play for, and this group does get a little bit wild. So just bear with us for now. It's pretty much if one of these teams wins, then they're through to playoffs. I mean, Rejects, if they win, they're definitely confirmed to first place. Wolfhounds, we start to get into round difference and tiebreakers and all of the rest of it. So we can start to look at that a little bit further down the road when that actually does matter. But really, every round counts in this game, and getting the win even more so important.
Exactly that. I think both teams are obviously going to go into this for the win. It does mean a lot more for one than the other, but I think the equal chances, everyone's here to play, everyone's here to win. Looking at their bans especially, both teams are trying to be as strategic as they can. We know that Monty on a map like this is a pivotal character and being able to get a comfortable plant down, get that execute and make sure it's done well, along with other bans such as Fenrir or Vteu, trying to make sure that the execute that they do try and get onto the paper is done well. There could be a bit of an average ban. You see it quite a lot. It's just a bit of an annoying character in general, to be honest. But I think both teams know what they're doing.
Indeed, they do. Rejects starting things out on the defense. And their first site to pick is going to be Bar Gaming. It is a very, very common site to see being defended, but everyone runs upstairs right now. They want to get this extension set up. This site, quite often you will see a very extensive roam. You will see the players playing upstairs in the library. This is possibly one of the most important positions on the map in most rounds, but especially when the defense has chosen Bar Gaming as the site that they want to play. All of those vertical angles can be really, really important. You've also got the hatch for entry into the site as well. You can lock off a lot of positions just by having this that upstairs control. So for the Rejects, they definitely want to hold on to that. They've got a Jaeger, they've got a Wamai to try and deny the utility out as well, bring along the ADSs and the magnets respectively. So this one should hopefully be a pretty good round. It's not just going to be run in, find kills. There has to be some strategic thinking to this.
Bomb located by attackers.
Exactly that. Yeah, you made a great point saying that on a map like this, it's important that you kind of extend. Chalet isn't much of a big map, and if you're defending second floor or first floor like they are now, you're going to extend horizontally or vertically where you can. And I think Wolfhounds, they've droned out, they've got the characters they need, and they're going to go for that verticality right now. They're pressing into library. They got 3 people on the balcony outside and 1 droning just to make sure they know what they're doing. Nothing to be worried about. They can do what they want to. But I think the Rejects have set up very well here with their mirror looking into library, but also looking out onto K9. It's a very smart play here to make sure that both players are covered. They can cover each other. There's nothing to worry about. They can just hold their angles and play the time.
That they absolutely can. Flaring still inside of the library for now. More of those magnets regenerating over time. So we'll be able to bolster his position more and more effectively as this round goes on. As for the Wolfhounds, though, they just keeping themselves safe right now. They are holding back making sure they have all of the information, but Cryrim has been able to find Joshi. Nomad down, no more flank watch from those air jabs. And now the Wolfhound's in a man disadvantage. It's a difficult position to be in. It's still one that is possible to be fought back upon. Library still the main area of focus as in go the flashes. The E1D as well being prepared from the line of Chopchin. Tom, Champon Wee is inside too. Yellow falling, but Flary with 2! Absolutely locking down the top floor. No one can enter, no one may leave. Vexbolt's the last standing, is able to get one. Spots a player behind the shields. Possessive, you've got to be careful here. Trying to win the gunfight. Vexbolt's taken down and the rejects get that first defense on the board.
That was a very impressive defense there. If you're up to date on your terminology, you know the position that Wamad played is called suicide, and the reason for that is basically death. But what we saw there was an incredible play from Filari, being able to pick up 2 and then 3 kills off of the additional vault. It was a great play, great hold, very well done by the rejects. You can see they're looking to do nearly the same thing, looking at their lineup. They brought in his army into the pick this time, and a mute as well. Maybe they're trying to play a bit more conservative and hold back a little bit more, but I think they're not scared. They've got the momentum, like we said last map. They're trying to keep that morale high going into the second round.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Yazami, we know, is a very, very strong defender. Was at one point in time a must ban. But as for right now, in a pretty decent spot and still very strong. Let's not say, like, yeah, sure, she's been nerfed, but still quite a strong defender. And as such, not a surprise to see her being brought along here. In fact, if people have been keeping up with the 6th Invitational as well, we've basically just seen a Chalet game where the Azami was used on basement to some quite spectacular effect by Dark Zero. So,
10 seconds to go.
rejects hoping to maybe play into that side of things a little bit more.
Exactly that, yeah. The Azami pick being pivotal, with it being so versatile and so defensive, you really get so many options on how to play her. Whether you put them in these passive angles like they have just then, you can see them extending into boiler as well, trying to stop that pit push from the attacking team. You can see they've now put the default 1 on blue, making it a foothold, another very hard push. A very strong setup that they've set here. And you can see that Wolfhounds are once again taking their time droning. They're not Amaruing in like we saw last match. They're slowing down. They're checking out for the roams. They're going through the top floor. They've slowed it right down. They know where they're going to push from and how they're going to prepare.
Yeah, absolutely do. Obviously, that last game, maybe a bit less stakes on that. This one is for all the marbles. And just a reminder of the stakes of Wolfhounds. They need to win to stay alive in this competition. As for the rejects, well, they are pretty much locked in unless they take a 7-3 loss or worse, I think it is. But already the first round on the board, it's a good sign for them.
Exactly that, and I think with those tension being so high, you said the marbles all to play for, like you said, that may be a reflection of how these teams are playing as well. We're halfway through the round already, not a single kill, not a single bit of damage. They do have main breach open, I believe. There you go, you see it now. They've got the drones, they're planning their execute, slow and steady. They have no line on their side this time, but you can see they've got the Ash pushing down blue to get rid of these army. They've got the Buck up top as well, trying to get that verticality above the mirror that's holding main breach to try and flush them out, to try and make that room once again. And if you have a look at that utility again, they have 10 whole claymores to try and stop the room, along with the Jackal as well. So they're definitely playing it safe. We've got 50 seconds left. The first kill goes to yellow. Up on blue, sorry, gets another. Onto the Buck as well. That's Ash and Buck both falling on blue. They've got 2 kills, down to 5-3, 40 seconds on the clock. The odds are definitely in their favor here.
Yeah, it's the power of those Kiba barriers. Now Flary, a bit of confidence in play. Looking to go up towards the window. Champon Wee just holding back to only limited time remaining, and now the drop comes through. Was it intended? Was it not? It doesn't matter. Still need to get a move on him. Possessive inside a boiler gets one. Champon Wee answers back. The entry on into the site, but quickly shut down by Cryrim. Nihilus can't do anything either. Rejects get themselves that second round. And both of these rounds so far, they've looked so strong, so dominant. This could be another quick game.
Mm-hmm. You saw the Azami there. Like we said, it's going to be powerful. It made that push into blue such a pain. And then along with that, very late swing into the main breach as well, gets another, makes it a third. It's a very good hold from the rejects, like you said. They've gone for a roughly the same the lineup. They've picked the Azami, they picked the Mirror and the Mute once again. I'm going to guess, because they've won the last 2 rounds, they've obviously got to go for top floor here, which explains their castle, explains their Malusi. They're once again probably going to try and slow them down. But we saw in the first round, you said, they brought the Wanwei and the Jaeger to try and stop that utility, so I'm intrigued to see why they didn't pick it this time.
Yeah, castle is of course still very, very strong. You get the information from the Malusi. Every operator here has a purpose, but yeah, like you say, might be good to see even just one of those. Probably the Wamai, often a bit stronger than the Jaeger nowadays. But to lock off those sight lines like you get with those castle barricades, as you can see Possessive placing one down right there, it still makes a lot of sense. The library extension yet again, not to hold inside of the room, but this time just to keep the attackers outside of it. Remove that foothold from the map. That's what the object of play is going to be here from the rejects. Stop the Wolfhounds from getting any footing inside of the map until it's too late to set anything up.
I agree, yeah, and taking a look at their attacking lineup as well, you can see they not only have a lot of gadget denial with the IQ, with the Thatcher, with the Twitch as well, but they've also got an execute lineup right here as well with the Ying, with the Lion. So I'm going to guess that they have a plan in place here with the hard breaches along with the Thatcher or the IQ to try and get a hole in one of the walls. And then from there, it's a simple Ying and a Lion push to get an easy plant down. You can see from their spawns as well, they've all spawned on the K9 side of the map, sorry. Cliffside is what the spawn is called, apologies. So I'm going to guess they're going to go for a K9 push here. You can see Twitch on the bottom of Trophy as well, maybe trying to get into Solarium. Switches around instead to try and help K9 instead. And Yellow gets a great kill once again.
Yeah, the opening pick 2 rounds in a row from Yellow. Doing brilliant work so far. This time it's on those blue stairs. The player coming up to try and dislodge that position. Instead, it doesn't work out. And something that has been quite common these past few rounds is that the Wolfhounds find themselves in that 4 versus 5.
Yeah, we mentioned last round how slow each teams are playing it, but that's a very good early pick. Like you said, someone trying to push them out of the position, they've held their ground. They've got to find another way in, another way to try and get that wall open, to plant behind the half wall.
Yeah, the
you
Ying
can see the
falling
IQ
too
in play,
is
yeah.
big. Because obviously that's your execute utility right there. You know, Candelas, those flashes, so strong at keeping defenders away from engaging you in those gunfights instead. Now they're free to take all the fights they want, and Possessive takes full advantage. Vex Bolt's falling. Cryrim is aware that there might be someone pushing up. Champon Wee has been spotted from the site, now getting pushed from 2 different angles. It's Flary to collect, but good work from the rejects nonetheless. They're doing excellent work, in fact. 1v5, Nihilus, 0 kills in the game so far. We'll need to make it 5 to win. An ace or nothing. There's the first. Sprinting with the shotgun. Possessive. It's aggressive. It's fast. And it's punchy. The rejects get themselves 3.
I mean, I was about to talk about how conservative they're being, but we just saw a shorty push through an impacted castle barricade right there. So I think once they found that it was a 1v4, they started to have some more fun a bit, trying to loosen up. But that was a great hold. You saw the cooperation between the 2 players in Solarium, knowing that there might be someone pushing up, playing off of each other was a great point. I think the Rejects are definitely taking this match by control. Hopefully the Wolfhounds have something in their locker. You can see their lineup right there. They got the Nomad, they got the Capitao. Maybe they're trying to make some more ground to stand on, but we'll only have to look.
Yeah, Rejects. They want to win this group, all right. They absolutely do, and it's the same setup again. Well, my Jaeger inside of Library. We've got 4 players starting that setup upstairs. Cryroom on the smoke downstairs, on the frost, sorry, downstairs. Placing those welcome mats, which, despite the name, aren't very welcoming to the attackers. Get them in that down but not out state, they can get themselves out of it, but they do leave a blood trail on the floor. They can't sprint, or they have to get revived by a teammate. Either way, very, very damaging to you as an attacker if you find yourself in those. And even if you do clear it, that means that when you're jumping through a window, you have to have your gun down at the floor shooting. It means it's a perfect opportunity for someone to try and swing you while you're distracted.
Exactly that. Yeah, I think it's a great operator to pick. And you can see from the first round when they played Bar again, they're holding the vertical again. And I'm guessing they're holding in the Mez, they're holding the kill box, they're holding the suicide once again like they were. Because they don't need to change anything. They got the round win. They know how it works. But I think Wolfhounds might have something different up their sleeve, like I said. With the Capitao trying to flush out the 1-eye perhaps. But here they are, sneaking up these stairs. They've got into main entrance. They're trying to find an easy kill like they did last round, but it failed. Hopefully it's a bit of a change of pace. The Nomads go down. They're slowly getting map control, slowly setting up, making sure there's no roams. Perhaps they might be going for a more horizontal push this time instead of going for a library, but we will have to wait and see.
Yeah, the problem with that is you expose yourself to all of the vertical angles, and well, all 5 of them are pushing from the same place. Finally, Vexbot splits off. If you've only got one avenue of pressure, it's so easy for the defense to just focus in on that area and completely shut you down. You need to have all of these different prongs to your approach. You can see Vexbot's on those lower blue stairs, just watching into the hallway, making sure that no one can flank onto his teammates inside of kitchen. And Joshi Moshi's now exploring upstairs, spots that mirror window, forced to fall back, doesn't have the support to be able to take that one out. Doesn't destroy the bulletproof camera, but instead only punches the glass. It can still be used for sound cues, but you just cannot see out of it anymore. So that's an interesting choice there. Oh, but look at this. Vexbolts has found Possessive completely unawares. Caught with his pants down, really, inside of blue. And that means the Rejects, they've started to panic a little bit. You saw all of those silhouettes start to turn, start to run towards the site. Yellow retaking that position. Cryrim finding a kill as well. Flary, though, falling as Vexbolts gets another 2. 3 kills in the round. Looking to try and find more. Shoji inside a fireplace. Has to reload. Spots the player inside the kitchen. Now falling. Vexbolt for the quad. Make it an ace! That's the impact they need. The Wolfhounds get their first round here on Chalet.
Oh my word. I have no idea what I've just watched. You saw the Ash just crept up blue stairs, keeping it quiet, sneaks behind the ward and gets an easy pick first off. And then you see the Reject slowly crumble. You saw Mira jump into main hall, trying to scramble for a kill. And instead, Ash returns with an incredible ace. That was something to awe at, I suppose. Take notes. That was incredible. And they've gone for the Ash pick again. Maybe they can do the same thing. Hopefully Rejects have something to answer with instead.
As we find ourselves entering into round 5, Bar Gaming, the same site. I mean, it worked out pretty well for them in round number 1. You can see why they'd want to play here again, but a little bit of the spanner in the works now for the Rejects. That status quo of just winning every round easily has been disrupted there by Vexbolt, who is really the only player on the Wolfhounds to have found any form of anything in this game so far. 6-3. 2 of his teammates still haven't found a kill yet. So you're looking at the rest of them to step up on the mark. You cannot rely on those hero plays every single round. It's just not going to happen.
Exactly that. I think every team, as much as it might need a player like Vexports to do those incredible plays, drop those incredible aces, it's not something you can rely on all the time. You don't want him to fall and then be left in the blue, out in the open, not knowing what to do. I think Chop Chin and Joshi really have something to explain for themselves going 0-3. They've got a point to prove here. Hopefully they can start contributing. But the characters they picked as well, nice and easy. Possessive gets an opening pick into hit as well onto Joshi. I'm trying to prove my point of him trying to get a kill, but he just falls once again. Another opening pick on him.
And again,
Trying
it's
to
the
prove
flank
himself
one.
and fall. Oh, wow.
I mean, you can no longer have those air jabs to lock off the flanks. It's hardly ideal. And like you said, a player still on 0 kills. That's not what you want either.
You see Vexbolts trying to try the same thing again. Creeps into blue basement. He knows the audio cue. He knows there's going to be someone top blue stairs. He starts walking, starts letting his team get into plays. But Joshi, like we said, falls once again, dropping down to 0-4. Hopefully his team can pull it back again. You see Vex slowly sneaking up. He knows where he is. He knows where he's going to be. The Warden reads him perfectly, like he did last round. But instead, this time he got the kill. His two teammates are following, maybe trying to trace in his steps, trying to pick up the kill. But the Warden knows. He's snuck. He's changed position. He's got another kill. And he sits at the top of blue. Ying Sound window, both completely clueless with their hero dropped.
It's such a poor showing in this round from the Wolfhounds. Yeah, sure, it's a 2 versus 4, but not from any work of their own. Yellow disconnected. And in that 4v4, you think, maybe there's a chance that they can fight their way back into this. But then 2 players fall to Possessive. They just walk into the blender one by one, and they fall in turn like 48 seconds left to try and salvage something. They've got to get something in this round, or it's a 4-1 half. Rejects can move on to the basement. Another very strong site on this map. Cryrim inside of the site. Ooh, might have spotted Chop Chin Tom there inside a bar. No, doesn't actually have the catch on the player, but Flary absolutely does. The last 2 kills in the round fall to him. And the Rejects continue their winning ways.
I'm trying to understand what happened there. I think the Lion just crept into bar, and I think one of the defenders caught eyes with him, made eye contact, but just didn't shoot. I'm trying to piece together the puzzle. I think that was a very easy kill for him to get, but he must have not seen him. And instead, the Lion picked up 2 kills, wiped them off. Very questionable round, a very rough start, but hopefully they can pick it up going into round 6.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a tough game for the Wolfhounds. We can recognize that, but they absolutely need this win. They really, really do, and every round does matter. Already up to 4. If the Rejects are able to win just one more round, I think they've guaranteed themselves locked into the playoffs. No matter what happens, even if they then go on to lose 7-5, it wouldn't matter. They're already locked in and through. So really, that's what they should have their eye on. But I mean, based on how the game is going so far, it feels like they definitely have their eye on that win. And they seem like they're on their way to get it, Vteu. I don't know about you.
Yeah, they're going to seriously need to dig deep here. We mentioned the hero plays. We saw Vexports drop the ace. There's only so much you can try and let him carry you and try and get as many kills as he can, but you need to start contributing as a team. You need to start playing together. I think they do have a tough hill to climb, but I'm hoping they can put it together. I don't know how many rounds you said they needed, but I'm sure they can pull something out the locker. Maybe try a few rushes here and a couple executes there, but so far they barely even get the execute off, and they just get picked off before the round even starts.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's been so difficult to watch them sort of stumbling at the first hurdle again and again and again. It's because my heart just it breaks for them, man. I just want something good to happen, and the only time it does is when Vexbolts has to drop an ace to do it. I mean, it feels like everything is going the way of the Rejects right now. They are just running away with things. They really, really are. So it's tough. It's really tough because again, I want this to be a close game. I want this to be a good game, but unfortunately, I mean, the Wolfhounds just are not up to the same level.
I agree, yeah, and I think on a map like Chalet, as much as it might be defending-sided, we saw they did get around. It is possible. I think they just need to come together finally. Let Vexbox maybe take the IGL, maybe plan a couple executes. I think Vexbox, he's running there a couple times by himself. Maybe if they can attack with him, they can try and get some trades. But instead, they're going one by one. You saw the Warden on blue stairs there. He managed to get 3 kills, I think it was, as he slowly just kept moving around the stairs, making sure they didn't know where he was. Some very easy kills. I think they're going to need to conjure up some serious strats here. They need to throw them off their pedestal and hopefully, like you said, get a couple of rounds. We will have to wait and see.
Indeed, we will. It has been incredibly one-sided. We are actually just going to throw things to a break while we get this issue sorted out. When we come back, we'll be heading right back into round number 6 on Chalet. You won't want to miss it, so stay right there. Well, you can see the game. That can only mean one thing. It means that we are ready to head into round 6. Here we are with the Rejects versus the Wolfhounds. In case you missed what's happened so far, Rejects have looked pretty strong. Just the one round won by the Wolfhounds, and that was an ace from Vexbolt. The rest of the team, well, they need to step up to the mark here, Vteu.
I agree, yeah, and I'd mentioned before the break that Wolfhounds are going to need some serious plans, working together, cooperation. They're going to need to pull something out of the bag. And looking at their lineup, it looks like there might be a potential for a rush here. We've got 2 shield operators, Blackbeard and Blitz, along with a Thinker and a Lion. Maybe the Fuse to cause some mayhem whilst the other 2 run in. We're going to have to wait and see, but The
Fuse of the
rejects
shield
have
as well.
picked a very
Yeah.
basic stand-up as well. So they might not be prepared at all.
Yeah, the Wolfhounds, they've gone for the most amount of shields that they can have, obviously, with the Montaigne being banned away. Possessive does get one. There's a Blackbeard falling, but Joshi Moshi able to get that trade. Finally, the first kill on the board. Leaves, in fact, only Shoji as a player with 0 kills in this lobby. After that first burst of pressure, things settle and simmer. The flashbang doesn't quite go the whole way. Vexbolts, unfortunately, blinded up by that one. Hello's watching for this.
Yeah, proud of Moshi there, getting his first kill. Not an easy one either. Would have taken him by surprise. You saw the Blackbeard burst the wall open and then die immediately, so Joshi was good to react there. Not a terrible kill. You can see the Blitz here, trying to push up against the door. Forcing them back into blue, makes his way onto site, pushes the Jaeger against the mirror, falls to the smoke behind the mute instead, sorry. The pressure is on. Flary finds another next to Boiler. He knows the Blitz is there as well, goes to the aggressive, defuse, sorry. He finds the kill, brings it down to a 3v2. Joshi trying to find his way on site, crawling down blue. Do they know that he's there?
Those keeper barriers are so oppressive. It means that Joshi Moshi's vision in towards the blue corridor is limited. It's blocked off completely, which means that he doesn't know if it's safe or not. He's got to try and find another avenue of attack or take that risk, and he does not want to take that risk. Instead, heading down the snowmobile stairs, caught on the camera now, has to rotate again. Meanwhile, Nihilus still inside a trench, just holding on with this shield, waiting for the go signal. There's still a minute left, and still plenty of utility to be used. There goes the first of those cluster charges, sending the pucks in towards the room. These positions are so difficult to clear. Nihilus, is he going to be aware of the siren behind his shield? I believe he should be. Yep, spots him, but the melee is going to be too good for it. Now just Joshi Moshi. Everything left to go on the snowmobile stairs yet again. The defenders watching towards his position, waiting for that swing to be made. They're behind the mirror window. They're inside the blue. They can coordinate this. They can swing together. They're just waiting, playing it safe. Joshi Moshi is the one that has to try and find the advantage. There's nothing left for him. No diffuser, no time, and no life. Rejects the 5-1 half.
Yeah, I think they had the right idea to try and change that pace. Like I mentioned previously, the Wolfhounds, they went for it instead. They tried to play aggressive. They're trying to throw them off guard. It was a great response. But I think the Fuse there might have been able to play a little better if he was with the Finger instead. I think popping a Fuse charge on either the pit door or maybe even the main breach reinforcement whilst they're trying to push could throw the defenders off, give them some more room, try and catch them by surprise like they were trying to instead. But instead they just slowly fell. I think the Fuse might not have seen the mute sat behind the shield, making an easy kill, bringing it down to a 3v1. A very sad end, but a great potential to a start. Maybe they keep the momentum. They know what they need to do again. But the sides have swapped instead. So we will see. We will see. The rejects instead on attack now. Wolfhounds on defense. Starting us off on top floor.
Yeah. I mean, in theory, you would say the Wolfhounds have a better look in here. You know, on the defense, stronger side. But Chalet often plays quite 50-50 anyway. Sometimes can even lean in favor of the attackers. Obviously, it didn't in the first half, but obviously that does leave us the question. Is this a defender-sided map or just a reject-sided map? And right now, the rejects have looked pretty strong. Wolfhounds barely able to make any of those rounds close, apart from obviously the one that they did win. And again, that's thanks to an ace from Vexbolts. Those types of players you cannot rely on every single time. Well, as that first half has showed, there has been absolutely nothing for them since then. Possessive on the Blackbeard though, looking into this round, looking to go fast. They're going to try and be punchy when it comes to the execute. You've got the Lion and the Ash as well. Finker to support. A lot of this should be focused on when that execute comes through. Just a very fast hit.
Exactly that. I think they're all waiting in position, playing it very safe. You've got 3 people on the bottom window here waiting to press in. They do. They know that the castle's there. They get some picks off, get some damage. He's now left low on site. 3 making their way in. You've got the solo repel as well. Watching down, making sure no one swings around. Possessive gets a great kill onto the wallbang, onto the mirror, onto the mute, sorry. Whilst Ash is left on K9, I believe.
Tampon Breeze right there. Okay, oh, thank God, they finally taken it out. Sat in front, obviously the players can't see the outlines, but it felt a bit ridiculous he was even still alive in that situation. Now the defenders become the attackers. They have to retake. Possessive a third, and well, we know how well it went for Wolfhounds when they had to try and take the site. They have to do that again now. It's just Vex bolts. Another ace required. This one just doesn't seem likely. Only 30 seconds left. Realistically, 20 seconds to try and get on the defuse. Obviously, it takes 7 seconds to get that defuse done the whole way. He's still not even up on this top floor. He's nowhere near the site. And it's a flawless round. Rejects now up onto match point.
Yeah, I think the Rejects showing the Wolfhounds how it's done. They saw the Blackbeard pick, trying to utilize that new shield that he has, being able to breach without making a noise, just jump through, take that initiative, take that shock factor into account, leaving Vex Bolts alone by himself on the bottom floor. As much as he might be the person to do it, that the odds could not be more against him. They're left on their different floor on a hard operator as well, trying to attack the site that his team were trying to defend. Awful stuff. Leaving us into match point. The Rejects only need 1 round to win it. And an interesting lineup again, but the Blackbeard pick, obviously they've taken it, seeing what just happened in the last round. Can they do anything to stop them?
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Obviously, Possessive doesn't necessarily have to take that Blackbeard option. The attackers have an option to change around whichever operator and whichever loadout they choose, depending on the setup that they see. As for the defense, though, they're locked into this, and it's certainly an eclectic lineup. You've got the Bandit for the breach, and also a Mute to deny those drones and entryways, but you've got a Capcan, you've got an Asami, you've got a Doc. Now, this certainly doesn't seem to me like the most team-oriented lineup. The Capcan and the Doc especially certainly tend to more favor a specific player than the team as a whole.
I agree completely. Yeah, I thought they might have seen the Rejects hold on defense, the one that they lost, and maybe saw how strong the mirror was, and maybe even take some trap ops as well. They have kept the Blackbeard this time, so maybe take a Legion. They've only got a Capcan instead to try and slow him down. I don't think it'll work. They're trying to take the main breach here. They throw a nade through. He gets downed instead. I believe that might be a TK there. I think he might have just hit his own teammate. Chopped is preparing a C4 as well, knowing that they're ready to get that breach open. The C4 fails. They step back. They know there's a person above the breach. But they've got it open now. And now they're going. Maybe it might have been distraction, but they're going for the big carriage this time.
Yeah, certainly not an ideal situation there for Shoji. Being taken down to such low HP already, but there's a thinker alongside. They can reduce them back up in terms of the healing that she brings. So all in all, looking pretty good now here for the Rejects. Just a little issue of that mute jammer in the way. The 1 grenade should be able to clear out that position. 1 goes in just to open up the door. Possessive, there's the opening pick that they want. Another keeper barrier, but you can just burst straight through that. The Blackbeard, sorry, is so oppressive in these moments. Such a thorn in the side for the defense. They don't know how to deal with this right now. Long angles being held. Yellow finds another onto Champ on Wheat. Everything falling apart. The Wolfhounds, they just don't know which way to look. They don't know which way to turn. Plant being secured already. Vex bolts with 1. The Joshi Moshi falling upstairs. Now into a 4 versus 2. Diffuser planted. 45-second timer has begun. And now it's only a 1v4. Chop Chin Tom. They might be called the Rejects, but the universe certainly has them on favor. It's going to have to be a clutch in such a difficult position. 6-1, looking to make it 7, looking to close out the game. And as that timer ticks, the shots ring wide and wild. Everything against Chop Chin Tom. He has to take these swings. He has to take these fights. There's another, but only 3 seconds to try and find it. And the timer will just bleed dry. The Rejects have won this game emphatically, and Shoji finds the final fight. Wolfhounds hounded out of it entirely, 7-1.
That was a great show of skill there. We saw that there was a complete stark contrast of just simple technical abilities. We saw the Blackbeard being able to utilize his ability again, trying to bash through the windows. We saw, you mentioned, bashing through the key barriers as well, just breaking open every door in sight, just making that room. And we saw the execute on Pit as well, the way they were just able to push through, just take the team completely by surprise after getting the main breach. That really gave them the upper hand. That was very well played.
Yeah, it absolutely was. Very, very nice work there from the Rejects. I mean, all game, really. And it's another 7-1. It's a bit of a trend today in these games. But yeah, that has been our day of games. That's been the group stage as well. I don't quite know if we have the full group standings ready. Oh, there we go. As soon as I say it, we see them appear. Red Kites top the group, Ronda Rising on 3 points, and Ghostly Gamer Squad are eliminated, and Story over in Group B as well. The Rejects on 6, Pit Ponies on 3, and the Wolfhounds with nothing to their name. So that sets up the playoffs. Red Kites taking on Pit Ponies, Ronda Rising taking on the Rejects, and then in the sort of eliminated bracket, there's a match for 5th place between Ghostly Gamer Squad and Wolfhounds. All of that looking very exciting, and you can see as well the main playoffs bracket just below me too.
I think overall a great day for games, to be honest. I think having a look at both of those, you saw 2 7-1 wins, like you said.
Yeah.
I think it will be Red Kites, like you said, tournament favourites. I think Rejects might have the length to get there. I don't know what the other teams are like, unfortunately, but if that is a final, it will be a very good one.
Yeah. So who are you saying to win the tournament then? I want to hear your predictions, because I think I still lie with the Red Kites here, but it just because they got a 7-1 win against the 2nd place team in their group, if that makes sense. Like they're by far and away ahead of all of the competition there. But what about you, Vteu? What are your thoughts?
I think as much as I want to go with the tournament favourites, Red Kites, I do love an underdog story, so I'm going to have to side with the Rejects.
Wow.
I don't know what the other teams are like, but after a show like that, I think they do have it in them. They did show some great skills there. Hopefully they can put up a good fight against the Red Kites.
Yeah, well, those semi-finals will be next week. As for this week, that's it. Our day of games is over, so all that's left is to send the stream off. I've been Pastor, joined by Vteu. Thank you to our observer, Nanos on the sticks. We've had Kashi, running things behind the scenes, and thank you to all of you as well for watching. We'll see you next week for more Esports Wales action. Goodbye.
See you soon.